Well, good afternoon. Welcome to our final session for today. My name is Natalie, and I'll be the moderator for this final session. The name of this session is Creating Connections, the View from Upstream. Quick reminder, there are sign-in sheets at the end of each of these rows of chairs, so be sure to pass those down to your friends and neighbors. I'd like to introduce Brooke King. Brooke King is the Director of Policy and Prevention Strategies at the Prevention and Early Intervention Division of the Department of Family and Protective Services. For the past 16 years, she has worked to develop strategies, programs, policies, and practices to promote safe, stable, and nurturing communities and resilient families locally and statewide. She holds a bachelor's in psychology from Texas A&M University. Whoop. And a master's in clinical psychology from Stephen F. Austin State University. That's like Axum Jacks. Okay. And I'd also like to introduce Angela Bonilla. For over 15 years, Angela has been working with youth and families serving community agencies and state agency partners. She currently serves as a director of programs in the Prevention and Early Intervention Division and oversees multiple community-based programs dedicated to providing upstream, strength-based support to families with very young children to adolescents. In this role, she uses a public health lens to provide support to these programs, promote innovation, and ensure effectiveness and alignment across all PEI programs. Prior to this role, she served as a division administrator for youth and family programs, where she and her team provided program oversight, continually promoted collaboration and learning opportunities with community grantees, and initiated the overlay of quality frameworks and programming. Within the division, Angela has had a key role in the initial development of the agency programs such as the HOPES program, the pilot for the military and veterans, Prevention Pilot Program, and the Fatherhood Initiatives and Programs. She has also led public awareness work, policy analysis, and prevention campaigns within the agency. Additionally, she has experience and held roles related to state policy work with the Texas legislature, various public health programs and areas, and research. She enjoys working with multiple agency partners across systems to support broader prevention and public health work, and holds a Master of Public Health with a concentration in health policy and management from Texas A&M, Health Science Center School of Public Health, and a Bachelor of Arts from Texas A&M. It's like a double whoop whoop. Okay, well, let's welcome them, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're excited you made it to 4 o'clock today, and Brooke and I are just thrilled to be here and share a little bit about our prevention programs in our division and what we do, and really just talk about the value of community and collaborating, which you all do in your roles. So at our division, all about supporting families, supporting communities. We know that all families need support and help, whether it might be more support whenever a mom is first giving birth or in the school age years. All families need help at different points. So our programs really touch on all of this, and there are so many supports in the community to help this. So today we're going to do a little bit of polls, some discussion, and then just really share with you different programs in our division as well. So let's see, we'll move on to this next slide. The view from upstream, from really our presentation title. Is our clicker working? We'll get to there, but really here at PEI, we like to approach everything from a strengths-based perspective. So really not deficit, but really looking at the strengths of a family. Like, does this family speak more than one language? Are they a really funny family that likes to joke around? Strengths of kiddos. So really that's a philosophy that we have embraced with all of our prevention programming. So now on our slide, you can see this picture to my left, and we like to use this analogy. Some of you may have heard of the river story, but just to give you an idea of what we mean when we say upstream. So this is kind of my take on just a version of it. So if you imagine those two characters in the middle, we'll name them Joan and Jonathan. And so they love going on walks every day in their nice mountain town. And so they are just constantly pulling kiddos out of the river every day on their walks. You see them wrapped in towels. So they're just getting tired of that, though, because they're doing that every day. It's a lot of work. You know, they're really great citizens. And so really, eventually, they go up to the top of the stream to see what's going on. Why are these kiddos falling in this stream? And so they realize, you know, it's just an open area. And so they build, you know, for the sake of the story, this lifeguard house with PEI, prevention, early intervention, up there. So just really creating, you know, strong supports upstream so we prevent kiddos from falling into the river. And really that's just, you know, an analogy for interaction with child welfare or any other system. So we know that kiddos may come into contact with those systems, but really there's lifeguards, there's life jackets, there's other supports, community resources that can help be there and support them. So we just really want to set that foundation that it's really all about upstream prevention, and that's what we're talking about upstream. So we'll click and kind of go to the next one. So, you know, here is Texas on the slide. Really just the scope of Texas, we have 7 million kiddos here, right? And a quarter of those, 7 million kids, yeah, there you go. 25% are kiddos. So just really emphasizes that just collaboration is so important. We know we have all different kinds of communities here. We are super unique. So that's just setting some context of 1 in 10 kiddos in the US live in Texas. So big impact here. And then moving on to our next slide, thank you so much for clicking. A quote that I think really sums up well of what's possible with collaboration, that there is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. So I really, really like that, of community. So then on here, we had a prevention framework work group who helped pull this model together of what can exist in a community to help support families. So whenever a family is thriving and they have all of these things in a community and these organizations are working together, a family can really thrive. So we have schools, safe and stable housing, different family events where families get to make social connections, connect with each other. There's quality health care, both for sick visits, well child, faith-based organizations, more connections, support, groceries and basic needs, access to healthy food, right? Media that helps portray positive images of families, helps get positive messaging out there, and then extended family for that support that we rely on when raising kiddos. So that is really the start of the prevention framework, and Brooke is going to take us through a little bit more of that and the different interactions that families might have.
So you can, so sorry. I hope y'all are awake now. You can see that these support solutions, like listed around the edges of the framework, they help families overcome tough obstacles that they may be facing. A strong community is going to work together to really help families, help stand up these solutions so that families can address these problems. These solutions in a community will help a family get back on their feet or help them succeed kind of like on their own, right? Help them have that sense of ownership. These solutions may not be for every family in the community, but they are accessible by every family in the community. And these solutions should go in and really strengthen and support the well-being of the entire community. So when you look at this, and it's going to kind of get a little bit messier as we go, so bear with me, right? But these resources, as you can see by the underlying grid work, they are not just in the community, they are the fabric of the community. They are that safety net. They help hold that community together. So the idea behind this framework and this concept is that when a family walks into any of these doors, there is no such thing as a wrong door, right? They can walk into any of these doors and get directed to a solution that they need, even if that solution isn't housed within that particular support. Strong communities, again, don't just have solutions for families within the community, but all of these solutions are connected and interwoven that are really going to be responsive to the changing needs of the family and really help build that safety net. So, as you all know from the work that you do, families can come together and seek services for a whole host of reasons. Each family, go ahead and click to the next one. Each family is unique, each need is unique. And as you can see, there you go. How families go about seeking the supports in their community is going to look different for each and every family. But the end result is that no family is really left behind, right? Every family gets the support they need. All of the supports are connected. And I think the other thing that I would just underline that I think each and every one of you could attest to is that even if a family is experiencing the exact same event, in this last one, a pregnancy, right? Their needs are going to look completely different. So there is no one-size-fits-all mold, right? That's the concept and the flavor behind this framework. Wrap it up.
All right. So really just what we want to stress on this one is that families really can succeed when all of these partners are working together and just that no wrong door approach. And that everything is interwoven, that systems are working together, all of these, and just functioning together. So then we will go to our next slide of what is your vision for your community. So when you think about the ideal community or what could be, we just want to get input from you all through this quick poll. So you can type in the link on your phone if you want to pull it out, or you can text Brooke King, Brooke with an E, King, 029 to 22333. And then once you're there, you can just click enter and then start typing in what is your vision for your community. And we'll see things starting to pop up on our screen here, and we'll kind of read those out and share. So what is your vision for your community? You might reflect on some of the slides that we saw, pieces of those.
And I think with the framework that we just walked through, like that is our pie in the sky, perfect idea of what a community would look like, what our vision is for all Texas communities. But we want to hear from you. We want to expound on that. So I see somebody's gotten in. So the first one is access for all. And if anybody is having trouble accessing the polling software, let us know and we can help. To heal military communities and children and adults who have experienced trauma, integrated care. No judgment for getting or needing support. That's huge. A community that is accepting of all with accessible services and resources for everyone. Access for all. Rural communities being served, not leaving out our rural communities. physical, mental, and social, emotional health, community partners working together, language support. It's huge, yeah. Especially in Texas, right? Like we just continue to grow, and the languages that are in Texas, there are so many. Inclusivity and equity for all.
A lot of inclusion, access, all in there.
Meeting the needs of the whole family. Less barriers to getting services in our communities. Better communication between community partners. Access for all individuals. Early access and intervention, that's a great one. Inclusion. Equity. Yeah, y'all keep them coming. These are great. Ease of
Inclusion of all.
Equality. Collaboration across organizations. Early intervention. Keep them coming. I think we want to keep hearing your thoughts and your ideas. But I think, a couple of the things that you talked about, I think we're going to dive into here in a little bit, is really looking at this community partners working together. How do we build that network? How do we build that support? Kind of continued conversation. So Anjali is going to take a minute and kind of walk you through some of the programs that we fund in prevention and early intervention across our state. So I'll let you take it away.
All right, thanks, Brooke. So on this next slide, you will see just an array of programs that are funded through the Prevention Early Intervention Division. And you can also go to our website, DFPS, Prevention and Early Intervention, and we have a really great drop-down that you can search by your county. So you can enter your county, and all the programs that are available in your county will pop up, because all of the programs that are funded aren't available in all of the counties. We do have one program, the Family and Youth Success Program, in the middle there, that serves families with kiddos of all ages, and it is in all 254 of our counties. And so this program provides family counseling, individual counseling, family coaching, skills classes, and so really short-term supports for families that are just experiencing either a crisis or just a challenge, maybe some school issues. We're going back to school. I know a lot of our grantees, that's a time of just shifting and change, getting acclimated to a new environment. And then also our grantees are really connected with other partners in their community. So if you are just another organization, they're a great resource to reach out to and get connected to. So Family and Youth Success Program. The programs really range from parents that are expecting a baby all the way up into having a teen graduate from high school. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. So starting with our little ones, we have healthy outcomes through prevention and early support, Texas Home Visiting, and Texas Nurse Family Partnership. So really this is prenatal to 5, so supports might include home visiting, parent education, really helping with all of the challenges from 0 to 5 of their kiddos are changing so much. Brooke and I have just passed that. We have, both of us each have 2 little kids that are 6, so lots of energy there. Then we go to our school-age kiddos. We also have our Fatherhood Effect program and service members, veterans, and families. I saw someone mention veterans and families in there. So these 2 programs, just as in their names, really focus on our dads. So just some targeted support for dads, parent education, just really connecting dad to parenting tools, resources, support groups, just really valuing dads. We found that whenever dads are together in a program, it's just really different, and that they have different connections than if it's with dads and moms. So we found a lot of success with that. And then service members, veterans, and families, same thing. Military families are often experiencing way different stressors than other family, and they also have different strengths than other families. They're really resilient, and so we have this program in a couple of our different counties and focuses on our military families. And then we have our youth program, so Community Youth Development and Statewide Youth Services Network. And so these programs are really youth focused, so it might be mentoring, your out of school time activities, building youth leadership skills. There's really cool job shadowing opportunities, and then one-on-one mentoring, small group mentoring. So we would definitely encourage you to, check out what programs are available in your county, and we're happy to also make connections in communities as well. So that is the flyby of our PEI programs. And then I'll turn it to Brooke for a broader level.
And I'm really excited to talk to y'all about this slide. This, if I were to say I had a baby other than the one that I gave birth to, it is this website. This is our getparentingtips.com. It is a parent support website that has articles and videos and resources designed specifically for parents. We have parents that are authors of articles on here. We have experts. We have doctors. So we have a lot of different types of authors that are contributing to our website. But I'm really excited. The QR code in the top right will take you to it. You can play around and explore on it. I think that one of the cool features is that we've got our articles broken up into 6 categories, starting with babies and then all the way ending with just for parents and supports and resources and things and articles to help you. Check it out. This website just turned 2 in December, so December 15th, he'll be 3. And we are adding new material and content every month. We publish at least 2, maybe 3 articles every 3 to 6 weeks, somewhere in that range. So basically about 2 a month. But again, constantly updating. This one is an older snapshot. You can see we have the weathering COVID-19. We stood up a lot of resources at the onset of the pandemic. In a month, we pivoted our entire website and had it directly supporting parents and our programs and our grantees. So anyway, this website, please check it out. There's a way that you can connect with us. If you're looking at it or you're looking for a certain topic and you're like, I can't find this, email us, let us know. We've got a running list of articles we're developing and continue to develop and update. So anyway, check it out. I'm really excited. If you'll go to the next slide, this is also really exciting. It's our Texas Parent Helpline. We stood a pilot or a prototype up, if you will, of this. We stood it up at the beginning of the pandemic. We have a runaway or a youth helpline. It used to be our runaway hotline. We've repackaged it, and it is a youth helpline that is for youth that need to call and have questions. It's for parents that don't know what to do with their youth or how to help. So there is that hotline. The one thing that hotline was missing was supporting parents with young children. So during the pandemic, where everybody was isolated, everybody was stressed out and trying to do 10 things all at once, we launched our helpline. And we've continued to grow it since then. The Parent Helpline is a 24/7 hotline that parents or caregivers can call if they have questions or need resources. As a provider in a community, you can call to try to figure out resources or next step if you're running into a roadblock. So definitely a very useful website and helpline. There is a landing page for it on Get Parenting Tips. So if you go to Get Parenting Tips on the top far right, they'll say Find Help. When you go to that, the Parent Helpline will be the first bucket that you can click on. From that website, you can actually chat with the helpline through the website. It'll launch an app through that. You can call or text. There was one other thing that I wanted to tell you, and it has skipped my mind. Let me see. Oh, I was going to tell you, currently, we're constantly pushing out this information and doing ads. We're receiving somewhere between 350 and 450 calls a week on our hotline currently. The majority of those are parents, majority is moms, and the majority of questions are legal questions, in case any of you were like, I didn't guess any of that was coming. But I think that is the flavor of calls we're getting right now. But this is a useful resource. Please share it in your communities. We'll go into the next one. The other three things I will show you is we do have our own social media. So we have an Instagram account for Get Parenting Tips. We have a Facebook account for Get Parenting Tips. And another app that we have and we fund and we just did not give it its own slide, and it probably deserves it, is our Father's Playbook. Most moms that I know of, at the moment that they figured out they were pregnant, they downloaded that app on their phone to be like, how big is my baby? What do I need to know? What's happening? That's what this app is, but it's designed by dads for dads. So it has articles and resources. How do you help mom? What can you do? What steps should you take? How do I need to start saving? So it has like a financial calculator and how should I start? Right? So it's all the material and content, again, was designed by fathers, specifically for fathers. So it's another cool playbook or a cool app that we have that I wanted to make sure you all had access to.
Right. All right. Well, back to collaboration. We want to show you all this just really fun illustration. We might go through the first one or so. Okay, sure. So that's really fun, right? It's all about working together, coming together, accomplish more as a group. So really just some of the first things in collaboration just might be like, who's going to be at the table, right? What are you going to work on and all of that. And so as part of all of our PEI grants, we really encourage grantees to either lead a coalition or be part of coalitions. And so on our website also, coming soon, is going to be an exhaustive, extensive coalition list that you all will have access to if you just want to be more plugged in your community. Many of you all, I'm sure, are. We have different collaborations that are focused on youth and then some on early childhood, multiple in some of our larger communities. And so really here is just a nice quote of coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. How about working together? And so here is an example that you all can go to of just an example of collaboration by Easter Seals in the Rio Grande Valley and what they're doing in their community. But again, another link right from us of just to check out the coalition list we know that it's just so powerful whenever communities just come together around that shared vision. And I know a lot of folks have gotten into looking at data to, doing a lot of things together. And that's something that all our grants help support financially as well, not only direct services, but also that coalition community building that we allow for, staff time to help support all of those efforts and collaborate with different partners. So we can keep moving on. Oh, let's transition to you.
So I hope you all enjoyed the video and got a little bit of laughter at this idea of what collaboration really could look like. But we wanted to give a minute for you guys to have some small conversations. So connect with a neighbor, connect with a partner, and talk through these 3 questions. Where are the strengths of your current community? Where do you see opportunities for new connections? And if we do this well, what would it look like for Texas children and families? So take a few minutes, let's have that conversation, and then we want to hear back from you instead of y'all just listening to us talk the rest of the time as well. Okay.
Yeah.
totally different vibe.
And I'm usually like super good with geography. I feel that way about the because I never got lived outside of That's where I'm trying to move. Oh. Be careful. I'm almost there. I live in a town called Belmont, which is a four-way stop. Not Beaumont. It's got a gas station. So, and we used to have a post office and stuff, but now if you type it in, it says Gonzales.
Are you guys ready?
Just automatically populated.
Are you ready? Ooh. Are y'all ready to do a report out, or do you need a few more minutes? Okay, totally, yeah. Take your time. Okay, Grant, got it. Yes.
So yeah, if we as you're doing it
Okay, y'all, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to wrap up.
I can get it. I can get it. It's like in a hidden space.
All right. We would love to hear from each of the groups if you would all like to participate. You don't have to, but we would love to hear from you. And love to hear kind of your thoughts on one of the questions, maybe your favorite question that y'all talked about. You want to start us off? Oh my gosh, you are like the winner. I wish I had a prize to give you. Yes, thank you so much.
Well, we have to use the mic because of the recording. So was your hand really up? Your hand was up.
Yeah, but now I'm regretting it now.
So we talked, and my beloved partner here works all throughout Texas. So we were just talking about because of a certain governor, we need resources for everything. We need more housing. We need more transitional housing, long-term housing. We need more mental health support.
Yes, she did a great job of summarizing it. And we really, because both of us work in Central Texas, we really talked about, just kind of different areas of Central Texas and where some of those gaps are, especially as you get to like rural areas or areas that maybe don't have transportation barriers and such. So we just really talked about how there are a lot of resources, but we really need more, and we really need them where the people are that need them.
Yeah, or the ability to get to them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you for starting us off.
Hello, my name is Janice Moore, and I'm Community Engagement Coordinator with Department of State Health Services. And I love this question because now one of the strengths in our community, our main headquarters is here in Austin, but I'm out of the Temple office. Mm-hmm. But the strength is that there are a lot of agencies that are offering services. The opportunity for new connections, I think, is that sometimes we have all these different agencies, but I think that sometimes there's a disconnect, overlaps. This agency doesn't know about this agency or doesn't know what this agency is doing. That's kind of one of the things that I do is I bring people together. Mm-hmm. And I think that if more agencies knew what the other agency was doing, or if other agencies needed the word, because they're like, I found out about an agency, I love this, I'm so glad I came here, found out about an agency. She said she was doing things for grandmothers. Yes. I'd never heard of it. Mm-hmm. But now, I'm sure other people hadn't heard about it, but now that I know, people are going to hear about it.
Fantastic.
Because I'm going to put the word out, because that's what I do. And if we do well, what would this look like for Texas children and families when there are services being put out, being done by all these different agencies, all these wonderful services? Mm-hmm. When people know about it, then they can take advantage of it. Yeah. And then they can be stronger and better.
Yes. I love that. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question since I have the mic. Is there some sort of like heat map or resource map, like asset map available of all the services in all of the places?
There isn't, but I will tell you one of the things that we have at PEI, and it's on our community toolkit, but it's our community maltreatment risk maps. And you can look at a community by county or zip code, and you can look to see what are the child maltreatment risk factors in that community, so you can think about what programs do you need, kind of like doing that gap analysis. What programs do we need to really focus on to try to move the needle on some of that risk? So that is one thing that we do have. But as far as a heat map or an asset mapping of all of the resources, I am not aware of one currently.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph. I'm with Travis County Juvenile Probation Department here in Austin, Texas, and I'm also working with Chris from Indigo Care. So to answer the question number one, we felt that we do have a lot of resources and services within the city of Austin and Travis County. Out of 254 counties, we do provide lots of services. We have churches that work with us, nonprofit organizations that work with us, other Travis County agencies, the City of Austin Public Health, all sorts of city agencies. So we do have quite a bit. We do know that we do have a lot of issues right now with the immigration and housing. So we hoped during this conference we can find some of that information. And I did notice in the conference how they were talking about mental health. And we thank you very much for support of that. There is a lot of mental health with our juveniles and our families at this time too. So we're glad that y'all are looking into it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, since I'm over here, here we go.
So the question has gone away. What are the strengths from our communities? So all three of the people that were in our little group are all from kind of rural areas right now that are on the cusp of huge growth. And so I think the strength right now is that there's still kind of that small town feel. So everybody kind of knows what everybody else is doing. And so you know where the resources are in your community, and they're easier to access, even though there's fewer of them. And then I'm trying to remember what the second question was.
Where do you see opportunities for new connections?
So we were talking about, as this growth is happening, like we all serve Bastrop County, and Bastrop County grew very quickly, very unexpectedly. And so the resource infrastructure was not able to grow with the size and the amount of people that are transitioning in. And that is, so in our rural communities where we also work and live separately from Bastrop County, we're hoping as it's growing that those resources are kind of coming along at the same time, which this is interesting because I am sitting on a board for a community outreach coalition that's going to be covering Gonzales, Caldwell, and Guadalupe counties. And we are just a group of citizens and professionals within those communities that are working together to kind of get a more cohesive list and dialogue started between the community partners to help facilitate better stuff. And really, if you get all of those things done and people have easier access, better transportation, more community resources housed in one area so that they're not having to go all over town and take a whole day off of work to go to two appointments. And they don't, so the more you're able to do that, the less crises you have in your community. You have less, crisis with pregnancy. You have less crisis with mental health. You have less crisis with, domestic violence if those things are easily accessed. So that's what it would look like if we could do it well.
I love it. I love that. Yes. Yes.
I don't need the mic. I got one of those voices. Can you hear me? Of course you can. We were talking about the next generation of advocacy. So the strengths right now is there's some people out there with lots of energy. I'm looking at retirement, so I'm not one of those people.
Sure.
And so the opportunity, I think, is in educating that next generation on there's advocacy, because there's lots of energy. So where do you put that energy? There's awareness, there's education, and how do you not get all of that confused? Because where there's awareness and where we need education on what the history of this looks like isn't necessarily advocacy. So moving that energy in the right direction, and then making sure that Texas children and families being, whether it's a chosen family, whether it's adopted, foster care, extended, whatever, that those families feel seen and supported, and so that the next generation can keep it moving forward. Because if not, it feels like there was an old movie after grandparents called Wag the Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the misinformation being sent out there by our media and by our representatives and stuff to get us off track of what's really going on. So we need to make sure the next generation doesn't fall into the same trap.
And just to add to that, I said some of the communities, I'm talking about the big community, I'm giving myself, they've lost focus on what's a need and what's a want. And sometimes we're focusing too much on a want.
Mm-hmm.
And the needs are going to be taken away from us by legislation if we're not careful.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't see a need, this is a need, this is for your survival, and this is a want to make me feel good. No.
Sure.
We need to have balance in seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
I'm older, so it's difficult to explain that to younger generations. Like, I want this, me, myself, and I. And I go, no, it's going to destroy the castle that we built for you. Generations that came before you.
Sure.
So we need to go back so that castle will be strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that all kind of ties back into this underlying, like, connection and conversation and building that infrastructure and that framework so that no family, right, falls through the cracks. Everybody has access to those resources. And I think each of you said it kind of in your own way, but it's access to these resources, but it's also making sure all the players are at the table that need to be at the table. And, I think when we were building that framework that we went through, I think, there was this big conversation and we started talking about grocery stores, and they're impactful. And that's not like a resource that you think about should be at the table, could be at the table, but they have a lot of valuable resources and input that they can give. And so I think part of what I would challenge you is to keep thinking about what are those unconventional connections? Think outside the box, think big. When I'm talking to my team or when Anjali and I are talking to the other directors in our division, we don't think about, or we try to push ourselves not to think about what is the goal? Where are we trying to get? It's that want. What do we want? What do we want Texas to look like? What is our vision for Texas? What is our vision for children and family? And think big. You're probably not going to get as big as you want, but if you don't think big, you don't have that room for growth and that room for creativity. So I would just encourage you all to continue to think big, continue to think about who is somebody that maybe has a different perspective that could come to this table, that could help us think about how do we keep up with this growth? How do we manage this idea that we have some areas of the state that have a lot of resources, right? There is not a resource desert there. They have the resources, but people can't get to them. So what is a creative solution? How do we think outside the box to work that? So I would just encourage you, keep making those connections, meet new people while you're here that are doing some of that similar work, and figure out what some of those connections could be. I think the next slide, if you're interested, there you go. Thank you so much. If you're interested in hearing from us, hearing about resources, learning about funding opportunities that we're pushing out, learning about new content that's going on, Get Parenting Tips, this is a monthly newsletter that we publish. I would love for you all to sign up. If you decide you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. But please sign up. I would love to hear from you. We would love to stay connected and help you continue to think big, think bold. If you'll go to the next slide, that is our email addresses. And again, we would love to stay connected. We would love to help you connect if you're having trouble connecting to resources in your community. Email us. We'll figure out who we can connect you with, what would be a good starting place. And then again, on the last slide, that newsletter, once our information is published onto our website, we're working on it now as we speak, but once we publish it about our coalition list and all of the coalitions we have across the state, it will come out through this newsletter. That newsletter comes out around the 15th of every month, so the middle of the month. But we'll push that out, and it'll have email addresses and contact information for every coalition that we are funding across the state. And there's about 30 of them, somewhere in that list, maybe a little bit more if I'm remembering correctly. So anyway, there's that QR code if you want to sign up for it. Otherwise, we've got like 6 minutes left if there are any questions that you guys have. I know it is 4:54. It's late in the day. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we're here to answer any questions that y'all have. Thank you.
Ophelia, are there any questions online? No questions? Well, thank you so much for such an informative session and for the work that you do. Thank you all for being here on day 1 of our conference. I just want to also remind you again about the QR code by the door for our evaluation, and remind you to please fill out your the form that you attended this session. Hang on to that till the end of the conference so you can get your CEUs. And we hope that you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.